Welcome to our U version 2 podcast with me, your host, Brendan McCauley. And today we have a special guest with us, Petr Rozkosny. And Petr, I'd like to say one of the things that attracted me to your Instagram post was I like your headline. You say, once you stop, you are done for. Never stop believing, dreaming, living, always be your true self. It really resonated with me. So would you like to tell us anything about yourself or about that?
Yeah, definitely. Hi everyone. I actually, that post, that headline means my whole life, because I believe that we constantly grow, and if we stop growing, if we stop chasing our dreams and living up to our dreams and to our values, we start to fade. And when whatever fades, it starts to end its cycle. And it's really important, especially in these times, to actually know what our dreams are and what our values are, and to go for them and still find those happiness in doing so. So I think that is the main frame of, like, don't stop, keep going, because life is beautiful and we should be living our life every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully resonate with that. And the every day is a learning day. I was even talking to my wife helps homeless in the local city here on a Monday, and I was meeting with one of the homeless guys today, and he's I think he's in his 60s, but he's lived a life and now he's homeless. But he's a philosopher. He's studied. He's had a good life, and then he lost it all from problems. But even we were talking, and he was saying, every day is a learning day, because he was teaching me some stuff. So it is amazing. So I'll just mention a disclaimer. As you know, this interaction is about happiness, your personal life experiences, and thus events may come up during the discussion. Please allow them to flow. If you're not comfortable with sharing with others, we should remove it from the final broadcast. So please relax. Enjoy this moment. So if it's okay, I'll kick off with a few simple questions, Petr, and we'll see how it goes. So
Let's go.
What does happiness mean to you?
It's actually funny, like, people keep asking me this question. I actually reply the same, but it changes a little bit every single day. Happiness is living the life the way it is. Happiness to me is something that every day happens something different, something so unique that we should appreciate and be grateful for. It can be either hearing birds singing in the morning. It can be even seeing the sunset in the city as the sun is playing, with its colors and everything on the buildings. So happiness to me is enjoying little things that are unique for every single day, because they may not repeat again.
That's very poignant, as you said earlier. It's that resonates with sort of living in the now, in the moment that we're currently in. And it's actually something in my own personal life in the last so many years I've learned to appreciate more. One funny thing I found, I now live in Italy. I moved to Italy 3 years ago, but in Ireland, I used to have my alarm clock on my phone. The alarm clock was singing birds, so it was like gentle singing birds. Where I live now, I don't need the alarm clock because the birds start singing outside, and I can hear them through the window. So it can be quite surreal. So can you recall when was the last time you felt really, really happy?
I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I was at my cottage, which is really, like, literally in the middle of nowhere. There's just trees around, and I was just doing some repairs on the roof. And at that one moment, I just dropped all the tools, stood up, and just looked around and saw, it was sunset, and I just loved how the sun was playing with the nature, with the colors, with trees, with birds, with everything. And there was this light breeze, the wind, and it was kind of like 5 degrees. And at that moment, I was just like, I don't need anything else but this.
Yeah.
And it was like in an instant, all the stress just fell off me, and I felt really happy, like, inside, even though I didn't buy anything, even though I didn't accomplish the repairs. I didn't finish them at all. But at that moment, I just felt connected with everything that's around me. And this is one thing that really resonates with me that whenever I'm stressed, whenever I feel insecure or anxious, I just need to stop and realize that I'm still here and I'm alive, and that's the greatest gift that I can have.
Yeah, like a simple appreciation of gratitude. Again, like when I was chatting to actually his name's Petr, this homeless guy, this morning, and we were talking about it because I was actually asking him, I wanted to encourage him to see would he start writing a few blogs for me, because he has it here. He just needs encouragement. And we were saying, listen, Petr, I'm just grateful that I'm here with you right now. We're talking, I'm sharing a coffee with you, I'm here with my wife, etc., and all these things. It's just those little moments of gratitude. So I learned to appreciate the small things, because I think happiness can come from the small things. Sometimes we pursue some big gratification element of whether it's material or whatever, and that maybe isn't what we want. Whereas watching the sunset up on the mountain in your cottage, it can just bring so much peace within you.
It's true. Like people keep searching for like big things in their lives, big accomplishments and everything, and then they forget about all the little things. And I always say this example is like, if I buy a flight ticket and it will be a first class or economy, if the plane falls, it doesn't matter what I bought. It will be the transition that I was in the plane going on a vacation that made me happy, not if I stay in first class or economy.
Yeah. Like when you're flying to Africa, no doubt you'll have great experiences there and maybe see a few sunsets or sunrises.
Yeah.
Do you think happiness fades away with time?
Actually, I think it's quite the opposite. It's like more older we get, more mature we get, we kind of tend to find more and more happiness, because when we were kids, we were fully happy with everything that's around. Then we have this teenage and adulthood, when we more focus on our ego, and then older we get, we usually lose this ego and we tend to go back to happiness again, and to be happy is usually, I see a lot of older people, especially here in Prague and Czech Republic, when they're like in their 30s and 40s, they usually say, I don't have time to be happy. I need to, secure my family and chase my dreams. I will be happy when I will be older. I was like, okay, but you can start now. And so I think it doesn't fade away with time. It's more that it's feeded by the time. It's like it grows with the realization of what are the core values of ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've had different responses, but that particular one's interesting because, as you say, possibly with age comes experience and awareness, and become more appreciative of what we have, and that in itself can bring happiness. I know myself, when I was in my 20s and 30s and or a teenager, and you look back and people would be giving you advice, and you'd be thinking, sure, what do they know? I know. I have it all. I'm sorted. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And now I look back and go, why didn't I listen? Why didn't I just do this? Just to one little nugget of truth that they were telling me. But that's human nature, I suppose.
Yeah, I think this kind of like this our like life cycle. Like we have to go through this phase of, okay, I know better than you, and then when we realize that how we've been acting in those times, it's more like that we, as you mentioned, we are aware of what we have and all the values we actually now possess.
Yeah, it's so true. We've all went through, no doubt you've done this, the identification, who are we? Who am I? The question we ask ourselves. Would it be possible for you to give us 5-10 examples of I am?
Oh, I love this. I actually resonate with wind and everything. So usually I like, me as a person, I like to call myself as a gale, because gale can be destructive and can be gentle, and there's my personality. I can be really annoying if I want to, and I can be really kind of helpful and supporting and loving as a breeze. And my life calling, if I can say that, towards happiness is I like to lift up the the fog, the mist, so others can see the path they are there in front of them. So the way I am is I'm supporting in this matter. I really would love to everyone to see the world and see their life through those happy eyes. That, even when we feel miserable, there are reasons and there are things to be grateful for, and there are values that we should appreciate. So I think that kind of like describes me from the scratch. And more, I'm talking about this to my friends, and it's actually funny. I have a lot of rivers and trees and rocks around me, as my friends try to, they create their own nicknames in this matter,
Okay, yeah.
in this way.
Yeah, a gale, certainly, as you say, it can blow away the old and bring in fresh as well. That's many great analogies can be brought with that. Where I live in Turin in the north of Italy, and it's right on sort of close to the Alps, and a lot of the smog from Italy comes up, hits the Alps, and then settles above the city. And where I live, I can look down and sort of see it. Thankfully, I'm protected. But a gale, you need a gale every now and again to blow away that smog, to bring in the fresh air and see the nice blue sky. So we can apply that in many ways to our lives too.
Yeah.
I think. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say is like I'm really kind of in love with nature, because nature can teach us a lot of things. And I also believe that happiness, when people trying to they want to start with mindfulness and happiness, I usually just bring them out and then we talk about what resonates with them. And I believe we have this one certain element that really kind of impress us. That for me it's a wind. For my friends, it can be a water. And we kind of, when we realize, for example, that we see a pond or a river, the stream and everything, it just makes us calm and everything. I usually say just, stick with that, because that can be your source of happiness.
Yeah, it's actually, again, where I live now, I'm surrounded by nature, whereas before I was living in, a housing estate in a town. And even there, we want to try and have a piece of garden, or we like to go for a walk along a canal or along a river. There's something in us searching for that nature space. We all like that green or the parks. And right now, during COVID, we were in lockdown, but where I was able to walk around the forest and just listen to the birds, observing spring arrive, the flowers, and as things grow and develop. There's something so about us as humans. We just crave nature, or we connect with it, but we don't realize it when we're stuck in our big cities of concrete and high rise and things like that. And you can understand why people want to, when they get the opportunity, they want to escape to the mountain or to the sea or down to the park. There's something deeper there. I'm sure that, and as you say, when you're mentioning rivers and things like that, a lot of us, we want to have, we have dreams of having a house by the sea or a river view. That something about water does actually calm us. So
it's true.
Fantastic. So what would you say you devote your time, your energy, and your money upon?
Well, I always say like to educate myself, like educate yourself. I've said someone, I would just educate yourself. Do what makes you happy. Try to see the world through eyes of a child. Be excited about things, and then if you feel that it will be something that will make you happy, just go for it. And if there is something that you put too much extra effort, it's probably against your personal values. So that's the reason that you should avoid, and just stick with the things that brings you even comfort or calmness or gratitude. Because we usually, most of the times, we tend to be in this uncomfort zone because someone's forced us to do and to be there. And if I want to spend my money on something, it's usually on things that just strengthen up my values, strengthen my dreams, and helps me to reach my dreams. And my life is really on point. At 30s, I wanted to buy a house, so I have my cottage. Now I'm focusing on things. And usually when someone comes to me with, I have an idea, we can do this, or we can open, or we can start a new division in our company, I'm always like, is this really something that I want? How much would it cost of my life, of my time, of my money, of my knowledge? If it's something that one time I say no, there's maybe the reason that we can discuss it a little bit differently. So the
Yeah.
big advice would be stick with your values. Whenever you put too much effort, it's no good. Whenever you say it's good for you, just go for it and enjoy it.
Yeah, as you were talking, it really hit home. You've thought through quite a few of these things better, but if it aligns with my values, that seems to be a decision point that you have, is I'll invest my time or my energy or my money or whatever. Does it align with me? If it does, well then gut feeling is it's a good thing to get into, or let's give it a shot because it aligns with your values. And many times I'm guilty of it in the past. You think, oh yeah, just jump head first, let's do this. And then, that never aligned with what I truly am myself. So why did I even bother or waste my time? And I have to retract myself out of it to get back into where I should be. So based on what you said, what are you aligning yourself to today?
Today is just spending my time with my team because we have these regular one-on-ones, and when I do these feedbacks and one-on-ones, it's not only that I as a boss have to tell you something. I'm more structured as, what do you want from me? How can you be happier at work? What can I do for you? This is what I really like. Actually, I think I'm one of the few managers that really enjoy those sessions with my team one by one, because I see how they grow. So my focus on today is to make sure that my team is still growing. So that makes me happy.
Yeah, that's something that, in my day job, the business I work for, you're meant to do appraisals with staff and minimum once a year and things like that. When I started looking into personal development and self-improvement for myself, I thought, oh, hold on a minute. With my experience and position I'm in, I should be reaching out and helping those I work with, because guaranteed any pain they're going through, I've gone through it, so I can help them to overcome it. And as you say, the approach for the appraisal sometimes is, okay, here's a tick box. So what have you done this year? Okay, any problems? Yeah, okay, we'll deal with that. We'll get some training. Okay, thanks. See you next year. Whereas sometimes it's like, as you said, if someone is real about it, it's like, okay, what can I do to help you, to bring you along so that you can carry out your job, or you're better skilled to do your job, so it takes away the stress or etc. That's the real conversation I think that should be going on. And mental health is something that I focus on, especially in the industry I'm in, which is in construction. And a very interesting statistic someone recently said is that since the recession in 2008, there's been more suicides than there actually has been death accidents within the construction industry. And that's shocking. And I think it's because, I can't say what the reason is. I think potentially it's because of that macho environment of, no, well, everything's grand, I'm fine, I don't need to talk any of that hugging trees and holding hands. That's not for me. You'll see me down at the pub drinking 10 pints. So there's a different approach to it.
Yeah, I think there's actually even where the world is more heading to with, as an employer and employee relationship, because more likely a lot of, jobs themselves, they're quite alike. You still sit in front of the computer or you do something physically. Benefits, usually the pool of benefits is usually the same among the companies. But the difference is the approach. If you try to hear out the values of your employees and then make something for them, so those values are met, or expectations are met. That's one of the things when we are usually start the feedback. So what do you have? How can I help you? And if they made their list, and usually it's not. For example, if they come to me, I have a problem with this, I'm so stressed over that. I was like, I will not tell you what to do. You tell me what you want to do, and I will tell you if it's good or not, and perhaps if I can do it even better, what I would do. So I'm more trying to mentor them, and it really paid off, because they're people. It's usually, if I go to vacation, I don't have to worry because I know they will handle it.
Absolutely, you're empowering them by giving them that mentoring.
That was the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah. Very good. Can you actually list 5 things that you worry about?
Well, at this moment, we know what's happening in Ukraine. So this is one of the things that kind of worries me, of course.
Very real.
And the other thing would be that when I go on vacation in Zanzibar, the weather will not be nice. That's one thing that I worry about a lot. And otherwise, not pretty much. Usually, I everything I worry about, usually I see as a challenge, and I do things to kind of find it exciting. So I'm sorry, I can't list more.
It's fantastic. It's great. It's great to not have a list of things to worry about. Whereas, I can speak to someone else and they'd come out with a page.
Yeah, that's
1 to
true.
100. But that's also about, I'd say, Petr, you've studied, you've self-reflected to understand, what is the point of worrying? Because it achieves nothing. Ultimately,
That's
it
true.
achieves nothing. So, as you say, if you're worried about, well, treat it as a challenge to deal with it, to overcome it, whatever it may be. Of course, you can't manage the weather in Zanzibar, but you can hope for the best, certainly.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
No, I don't want to say anything.
Yeah. No. So, would you be able to give us an example of some things that you do whenever you're looking for comfort or solace or need to relax to chill out?
Definitely. I think we all can read a lot of techniques on the internet, how to, stop, how to calm ourselves. There are 3 things that I do on a regular basis and almost every day. Every morning, when I wake up, I usually, talk to myself. Okay, this day will be good because something will happen. For example, today, because I have my one-on-ones with my team. So I kind of motivate myself every single morning. During the day, when I feel a little bit stressed or anxious or overwhelmed, I just stop myself, close my eyes, breathe in, breathe out, and kind of like restart myself like it's a new morning, even in the middle of the day, because that helps me kind of, switch my brain from this closed-minded, anxious, and just, straightforward focusing to, open the space of new creations. And the last thing, what I do is the ritual I do every single day is to ask myself 4 questions every single night. And the first one is, what went well today? Like, what was so good about this day? What is the thing I'm grateful for? It can be even like, this sunset, sunrise. It was, I met someone, I talked to someone, or even, for example, this podcast. Then the third one is, what are my feelings? Like, how do I feel about myself today, about the day itself? And the last one, what I can do even better tomorrow? Because we always need to focus on something. And again, I will a little bit motivate myself before I go to bed. Okay, tomorrow I will do this way better than today. And then just jump into the bed.
I have to say, Petr, I fully align with it. It's fantastic. It's sometimes the simplest things in life just are life-changing for us. But, like you said, sometimes you say to someone, I talk to myself, and they think, what, are you mad? But no, you're not. You're self-affirming yourself. You're talking, you're appreciative of what you have and what you can give. And it really surprises me that the simplicity when we break it down of how we can actually make ourselves happy with some of the simplest things, but we sometimes overcomplicate it. It's unnecessary.
That's not true.
So I just like to finish up with 3 very quick fire type of questions. You don't have to give a big debate, but by all means, but 3 simple questions. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for having my husband.
Are your relationships going well?
Yes.
How are you making the world better?
Just being honest to myself and to people around me.
Fantastic. I have to say, Petr, it's been an absolute pleasure having a conversation with you. And if we can share some of those simple factors and simple words we've been talking about, I certainly think we could all make a positive change in this world.
It was a pleasure for me as well. It was really a lovely chat.